Hey, Cules. What if we started this story with a thunderclap that leaves Camp Nou in suspense and the football world open-mouthed? Picture the scene. It's a sunny morning at Ciutat Esportiva Joan Gamper. The air smells of freshly cut grass and pure ambition, the kind you only breathe when Barça is preparing to devour its rivals in La Liga and the Champions League. Hansi Flick, with his eternal German seriousness that seems carved in granite, directs the training session with Swiss clock precision. But today, something sparkles in the air. On the left flank, where football is invented and dismantled in a breath, two figures emerge. Lamine Yamal, the 17-year-old kid who seems to have been born with a ball glued to his left foot, and Marcus Rashford, the 27-year-old Englishman on loan from Manchester United, labeled a problematic star with a hunger for redemption that could light up the entire Bernabeu. It all starts innocently, like those sibling fights that begin with a playful shove and end in total chaos. Yamal, the prodigy from Rocafonda who has already left legends like Messi speechless with his impossible dribbles and video game-like assists, dominates the flank as if it were his playground. He runs, spins, and faces an imaginary defender. Today, it's an orange cone representing the poor fullback from Rayo Vallecano, and he sends in a pinpoint cross that Lewandowski heads skyward. "Come on, Lewis, that was for the highlights." Yamal shouts with his infectious laugh, half kid, half football emperor. His teammates applaud. Flick nods with that good but faster gesture, and the group continues. Then Rashford steps in, fresh from his mental transatlantic flight, smelling of English tea and dreams of Thierry Henry. Rashford isn't just any signing. He's a guy who scored 130 goals for United, led campaigns against child poverty in his country, and suddenly decides that Barcelona is the perfect stage to resurrect his career. He's been sending messages to Yamal for months, as later revealed by an anonymous leaker on social media. "Hey, kid, hope we play together. You're a beast." The youngster replies with fire emojis and promises to dominate the world. But on the pitch, reality bites. Flick sets them a simple exercise, one-on-one on the flank to see who commands, who bursts through, and who decides whether the ball goes in or ends up in the stands. Yamal starts, steals the ball from GAVI pretending to be a fierce rival, and slots it into the top corner with a shot that whistles like a missile. Rashford, watching from the bench with his arms crossed, mutters something like, "Not bad for a kid." But his eyes gleam with that mix of admiration and competitiveness that defines the greats. Now it's the Englishman's turn. He receives a pass from PEDRI, who looks at him with that, "Show me you're worth it, mate," face, and takes off. Rashford is pure instinct. He accelerates down the flank like a Ferrari in Monaco, feints a cut inside, and sends in a curved cross that grazes the crossbar. It doesn't go in, but the impact is brutal. Yamal, now defending in the drill, arrives late, and the ball whizzes past his ear. Close, but next time pass it to me, I'll score," Yamal jokes, patting him on the back. Rashford laughs, but there's a nuance to that laugh. It's the laugh of someone not used to being the second option on the left flank. At United, he was the undisputed king, the one who decided whether Old Trafford roared or fell silent. Here at Barça, Yamal is the local messiah, the one who makes headlines with 18 goals and 25 assists in his debut season, the one who even makes the Bernabeu Ultras admit in private that the kid is a phenomenon. Training progresses, and the tension simmers like a good risotto that eventually explodes in your mouth. Flick, ever the sage, calls for a small-sided game. Blaugranas against visitors, with Yamal and Rashford on the same team but forced to rotate on the flank. "I want to see chemistry, not fireworks," the coach says with his military order accent. At first, it flows. Yamal bursts down the right, crosses, and Rashford heads it. Almost a goal. They switch positions. Rashford attacks from the left, and Yamal opens up space for him with a threaded pass that seems telepathic. The group vibrates. Lewandowski, clapping from the box, shouts, "That's it, boys. That's how you win the Champions League." Even Xavi, watching from the stands like a wise ghost, nods with paternal pride. Then comes the moment that lights the fuse. Minute 15 of the scrimmage. Ball on the left flank. Rashford in control. He sees Yamal making a run to the far post, but instead of passing, he chooses to dribble. He cuts inside, loses the ball to Christensen playing the fake rival today, and the counterattack ends with a goal by Fermin Lopez for the other team. Yamal, who was waiting for the pass like a hawk, can't contain himself. "Hey, Marcus, that was mine. Pass it. I'm not a cone." He says it with that Catalan bluntness that takes no prisoners. Rashford turns around, sweat beading on his forehead, and replies in a tone mixing surprise and defiance, "Calm down, kid, I decide here. You learn, and you'll see." Silence falls like a slab. Gavi lets out a nervous laugh. "Oh, here we go, the flank war." PEDRI tries to mediate with a, "Come on, let's keep going," but Flick stops the game. He walks toward them, hands in his pockets, that Professor Poe's about to drop an eternal lesson. "Listen, at Barça, there's no I, there's we. The flank is yours, but if you don't pass, we all lose. Understood?" Yamal nods quickly, Rashford a bit slower, but in their eyes burns that competitive flame that makes football so addictive. If you're already freaking out over this initial spark that could set the dressing room ablaze, subscribe to the channel because what's coming is even stronger. This rivalry isn't confined to a summer training session. That's when the scandal really starts brewing, like a storm on the Mediterranean horizon. In the following days, the team travels to Asia, Japan and South Korea, where Barça is a god and fans camp out in Yamal jerseys as if he were the Pope. On the plane, Rashford and Yamal sit together by Flick's orders to build bridges, says the mystic. They talk about everything. How Rashford grew up at United's academy stealing balls from veterans, how Yamal debuted at 15 and left the world jaw-dropped against Betis. "You're the future, I'm the present that wants to last," Rashford jokes. Yamal replies, "Then let's make the present eternal, but pass me the ball." Laughter, selfies for Instagram. That photo of the two of them, hands raised, left flank united, racks up 2 million likes in hours, and it seems like peace reigns. But football isn't a fairy tale, it's a Greek drama with cleats. The friendly against Busan Cove in a stadium roaring like Camp Nou on its best nights arrives. Flick lines up the new boys. Rashford on the left, Yamal on the right to test the double-edged flank. The game starts furiously. Yamal assists Gavi in the 5th minute, a surgical cross that slices through the defense like a hot knife through butter. Rashford, not wanting to be left behind, steals a ball in midfield and gallops 50 meters, only for the final pass to Lewandowski to be intercepted by a Japanese defender who seems like a samurai. The Pole celebrates with a rebound goal, but on the bench, Yamal mutters to Rafinha, "If he'd passed to me, it was in." Rafinha, the Brazilian who knows about these internal wars because he's lived them, gives him a friendly nudge, "Patience, Lamine." The Englishman is pure ego, but he's got no shortage of talent. The second half blows the powder keg. Substitution. Yamal moves to the left so Rashford can rest, but the Englishman refuses, "I'm good, leave me." And Flick concedes because he wants to see fire. Long ball from C. Rashford controls it on the flank. He sees Yamal free in the box but opts for the long shot. The keeper saves it easily, and Yamal is on the sideline. He jumps, gestures, and shouts, "That was mine, What are you doing?" The camera captures it thanks to a Federation drone filming for the highlights, and the world explodes on social media. The hashtag Yamal vs Rashford trends on Twitter with memes of Yamal as an angry kid and Rashford as the guy who won't share his toys. "It looks like the kid wants to rule the house," tweets a Marca journalist, and the scandal erupts. Is this a fight for flank dominance or just the natural friction of two stellar egos? But football isn't a fairy tale, it's a Greek drama with cleats. The friendly match against Busan Cove arrives in a stadium roaring like Camp Nou on its finest nights. Flick lines up the new boys. Rashford on the left, Yamal on the right to test the double-edged flank. The game starts furiously. Yamal delivers a decisive pass to Gavi in the 5th minute, a surgical cross that slices through the defense like a hot knife through butter. Rashford, not wanting to be outdone, steals a ball in midfield and sprints 50 meters, only for the final pass to Lewandowski to be intercepted by a Japanese defender who seems like a samurai. The Pole celebrates with a rebound goal, but on the bench, Yamal mutters to Rafinha, "If he had passed to me, it was in." Rafinha, the Brazilian who knows these internal wars because he's lived them, gives him a friendly nudge, "Patience, Lamine." The Englishman is pure ego, but he's got no shortage of talent. The second half blows the powder keg. Substitution. Yamal moves to the left so Rashford can rest, but the Englishman refuses, "I'm good, leave me." And Flick concedes because he wants to see fire. A long ball from C. Rashford controls it on the flank. He sees Yamal free in the box but opts for a long shot. The keeper saves it easily, and Yamal is on the sideline. He jumps, gestures, and shouts, "That was mine, What are you doing?" The camera captures it thanks to a Federation drone filming for the highlights, and the world explodes on social media. The hashtag Yamal vs Rashford trends on Twitter with memes of Yamal as an angry kid and Rashford as the guy who won't share his toys. "It looks like the kid wants to rule the house," tweets a Marca journalist, and the scandal erupts. Is this a fight for flank dominance or just the natural friction of two stellar egos? Rashford, in the post-match, steps up to the mic with that London smile that diffuses tension. "Lamine is a genius, the best young player I've played with, but on the pitch, everyone defends their space. We'll talk tomorrow." Yamal, more direct, drops in the mixed zone, "I want to win. And to win, you have to pass the ball. It's simple." Flick, the Zen master, puts out the fire. "They're young, they challenge each other, and it makes us better. Tomorrow, we'll talk at the hotel, but the Kules aren't sleeping." Forums like Kules Del Mon explode with theories. Rashford is coming to steal Lamine's spot. "Out with the English," shouts another. "The kid needs to learn humility," replies another. And deep down, everyone knows it's pure gold for Barca. Two beasts on the left flank mean nightmares for rival fullbacks. Hit the subscribe button because you won't see this on any news broadcast. The big football scandals brew in the dressing rooms and leak out in Instagram whispers. Back to the Tokyo hotel, where the Asian night glows with neon and promises. Rashford and Yamal share a room, again by Flick's orders, and the conversation stretches until 3 a.m. The Englishman tells anecdotes from his United days, like when Ten Hag fined him for a post-loss party against City, or when he faked being sick to go clubbing in Belfast and ended up publicly apologizing. "Football humbles you, Lamine, but you get back up and don't give up," Rashford says, handing him a Red Bull. Yamal, wide-eyed, responds with his story. How he debuted with Xavi at 15, how his family sold everything so he could train, how now, at 17, he dreams of the Ballon d'Or that Rashford predicts for him. "You'll win it before me, kid. You're abnormally good," the Englishman admits. And for a moment, the flank seems united. But destiny, that bastard in cleats, has other plans. The next day, in a light training session before the Ulsan Hyundai match, Flick tests formations. Rashford on the left, Yamal in the half-space. The Englishman shines, scores a sublime free kick that kisses the top corner, and celebrates by mimicking Henry's pose, the one Yamal had copied in training weeks earlier. The kid applauds, but inside, he's boiling, "Why him and not me?" Then it's Yamal's turn. He receives on the flank, dribbles past 3 cones, and his free kick grazes the post. Rashford, now defending, arrives late, and the ball hits his shin. "Watch it, Rash, that hurts," Yamal jokes, but his tone is sharp. The Englishman rubs his leg and says, "You play your role, I'll play mine. I don't need blessings." A reference to the viral video from days earlier, where Rashford touches Yamal's left leg as if asking for magical luck before stepping onto the pitch. The season reaches its climax. Champions League week against City, where Rashford faces his former teammates. Personal revenge. Yamal, motivated, scores the 1-0 from the penalty spot. Rashford, in extra time, sprints past Walker and delivers the decisive assist for the 2-1. Tears at the Etihad, eternal embraces. The final at Wembley. Barca vs PSG, Lewandowski vs Mbappe. The flank decides. Yamal dribbles past Kimpembe, passes to Rashford, who scores, 1-0. The title is lifted with the Big Ears trophy. The two look at each other, from rivalry to brotherhood. And so, Kules, this narrative ends. No, because football never stops. The left flank of Barca is now legend, a duo with 40 goals and 50 assists, making rivals cry and fans laugh. The scandal was the catalyst, the humor in the disputes the glue, and the seriousness on the pitch, the trophy. Yamal grows, Rashford redeems himself, and Barca reigns. What more could you ask for? Oh yes, more stories like this. Kules, the Wembley party still echoes in Blaugrana hearts with the reverberation of the Champions League lifted to the London sky. But the left flank of Barca, that territory where Lamine Yamal and Marcus Rashford forged an alliance as explosive as it is fragile, remains the epicenter of all eyes. The image of the two embracing with the Big Ears trophy is pure gold for the fans. But in the dressing room, in training, in the furtive glances between passes, there are more layers to this story than what's seen in headlines or Instagram reels. The chemistry between these two isn't just about goals and assists. It's a constant dance between egos, talents, and ambition that could light up the Mediterranean itself.